Artist's statement used in Dance Exchange Press Kit, early 1990s. I am interested in remembering why I started to dance and how happy I was at that moment, in what we dance about, in who gets to do the dancing, in performers who look like people dancing, not dancers dancing, in the idea that dance is a birthright, in keeping professional dancers alive as human beings, in what dancers have to learn from people who have been in motion for over 60 years, in how much dancers know and how little we share it with the rest of the world, in how much dancers know and how little the rest of the world knows we know it, in the moment when people who are too fat, too clumsy, too old, too sick to dance actually step out and dance, and how transformed the dancer and the watcher are in that moment, and how my choreography is a vehicle for me to learn about anything I want, in the continual hunt for interesting movement vocabulary that satisfies performers, watchers, and the subject matter, in the aesthetic, physical, and social implications of combining young and old, in making an environment that somehow leaves room for individual and collective participation, but stays loyal to an artistic idea and focus, in the continuing challenge of making personal expression valuable to me, the dancers, and the lady next door. Hiking the Horizontal. This book is a personal history of ideas and actions that emerge from making dances. It is also a description of the Dance Exchange, a place I think of as a think tank and action lab, a place that has been my home and home to many others since I established it in 1976. I wanted to record the events that led me to think and act in the world in a very particular way. I wanted people to understand that art is powerful, that dance can make a difference. I wanted to document ways of seeing and being that have the power to change the environments we live and work in, and the encounters that we have with each other. The phrase, hiking the horizontal, is the most recent and encompassing terminology to express the underlying philosophy of my work. Before I found the words hiking the horizontal was a physical gesture. It took me a very long time to understand the full implications of what was so simply accomplished with my hands. But the movement came first as a way of explaining why I wanted to live in a non-hierarchical world. Imagine for a moment a long, upright line that runs from top to bottom. At the top is art so separate from the rest of culture that its greatness is measured in part by its uselessness. Other characteristics arguably include emphasis on personal expression, crafting aesthetics, and a commitment to purity of form. At the bottom is art so embedded in its culture that no one thinks to call it art. Here reside sacred rituals, healing ceremonies, objects made beautiful by their functions, people meeting and moving through the stories and needs of the calendar of festivals. Or your perspective might lead you to put culturally embedded art at the top and arts for its own sake at the bottom. Either way, the forms of art are ranked from top to bottom according to a system of values. This is the kind of hierarchy of ideas that I grew up with, and that continues to prevail in many worlds. Now imagine turning this line sideways to lay it horizontal. That way, each of these poles exerts an equal pull and has an equal weight. Of course, the line is not completely flat, and the poles are often not equally heavy. It's more like a seesaw, and that is why dancing and art making provide sustenance for the hike ahead. If we are lucky enough, we can actually take the long highway between the sometimes opposing forces.